Chapter 11. The Roads Cross. Dewin's Perspective. One night while I was asleep, I had the strangest vision. It was so vague and distorted I really couldn't tell what I was seeing or hearing. All I can say for certain is, I felt the presence of the source, the presence of someone else, and I clearly heard, "Come to me." When I woke up that morning, I knew exactly what I had to do. Someone, somewhere, was trying to find the source and use its power. I told Viteria, "We're going to find whoever it is, stop them, and then we're going to destroy the source." "Destroy the source? But why?" Viteria asked, sounding a little shocked. "It seems all sorcery has ever done is cause pain and suffering," I said. "Source of magic, ha! More like source of misery. It's going to be weird living in a world without magic, but I think the entire world will be better off for it." "All right, I'm with you in this," Viteria said. "But how will we find the people trying to get to the source?" Even though my vision was over, I could still feel the presence of whoever it was in the vision. The feeling got stronger the closer we got to them. All we had to do was follow the feeling. After some time traveling, we encountered 3 people wandering in the wilderness during a storm. They had hoods up to protect themselves from the rain, but I knew they were the ones from my vision, so we battled with them. When it seemed like victory was close for us, the hood of one of the people fell and I got a good look at their face. There was no mistaking it. The person had the green hair of a sourceling. I knew, aside from myself and Viteria, there should only be 2 other sourcelings on the entire mainland. I got lost in thought. It was when the person hit me with a blast of sorceress energy that I was reminded we were fighting to the death. No, we couldn't kill each other, but the heat of battle was too chaotic to try to reason with them. Besides, I needed a chance to gather my thoughts. I was fairly certain about what I had seen, but it was really dark and rainy. For all I knew, my eyes were playing a trick on me when I thought I saw green hair. Even if it was Zolan and Zara, what part did they play in this? What great schemes were going on here? I motioned to Viteria for us to retreat. When we had gotten far away, Viteria asked me, "Why did we run? We almost had them." "Because I think that might have been Zolan and Zara," I said. "What? Then we have to go back and talk to them," Viteria said. "Not yet," I said. "There's something going on here. Something treacherous. I know what I felt. Someone wants to use the source, and we can't let them do that. I only hope it really isn't Zolan and Zara who want to use it, or we will have to fight them. But trust me when I say I only want to do that as an absolute last resort." There was a 3rd person traveling with them. I don't know who they are, but I have a feeling they're responsible for this treachery. They're probably using Zara and Zolan to lead them to the source. We may not know who that person is, but I have a feeling it's someone they're close with. Someone they trust. Maybe more than us. It has been 9 years since the last time we saw each other, after all. I really hope we can convince Zolan and Zara that their friend can't be trusted. Believe me, I don't want to fight them. Some more time passed while we planned our next move. Finally, I decided it was time for us to try talking to them. "I think you need to stay behind while I try talking to them," I said to Viteria. "I don't know how much that 3rd person has enthralled Zolan and Zara, but there is a chance this may not end well, and I don't want to risk you getting hurt. If something happens to me, you'll be the only one left capable of destroying the source before anyone else can get to it. If something does happen to me, please, promise me you will keep your mind on the mission." "I promise, Uncle. Viteria said. I prepared to commit my final act of selflessness. When I caught back up to that group, I noticed Zara wasn't in it anymore. Something treacherous was afoot. The second person was definitely Zolin. There was no doubt in my mind about it. The third person was a Weltkind woman I had never seen before. She must have been the one using them to get to the source. Now, I just needed to convince Zolin of as much. We need to talk, I said. Viteria's perspective. Uncle Dewin told me to stay behind, but he should have known better than that. After he left, I followed closely behind him. And then I saw it. Zolin struck him down and killed him. I remembered what Dewin told me about keeping my mind on the mission, but I was filled with so much sorrow and so much anger, I cast those thoughts aside. I ran forward screaming and I swung my mace, but Zolin jumped back and dodged it. He shot off a blast of sorcerous energy that knocked me onto my ass. That Weltkind woman started running at me and prepared her axe to strike. I shot off a fireball that grazed her shirt, catching it on fire. She patted her shirt, trying to put the fire out. Zolin used sorcery to conjure some water and put out the fire. I summoned a huge gust of wind that knocked them both onto their backs. I ran up and slammed my mace down, trying to smash them, but they rolled out of the way just in time. I remembered again what my uncle said. I was letting my emotions control me, just like I had last time, and I was putting our entire mission in danger. More so than that, when I looked at Zolin, I could still see my best friend from 9 years ago. I didn't want to fight anymore. I took a step back and stopped swinging my mace at them. As they stood back up, I pulled my hood back and said, "How could you do it, Zolin? How could you kill your own father?" The woman looked like she was getting ready to strike again, but when Zolin saw my face and heard my words, he stopped her. Zolin's perspective. At first, I thought it might be a trick, but I saw their green hairs, so I wanted to at least hear what she had to say. If it was true, that would have only made things even more confusing than they already were. Why would my father want to kill Zara, his own daughter? What? Who are you? I asked in some combination of anger, confusion, and who knows what else. Katrina's perspective. I almost blurted out, "No! Kill her! Kill her now!" It was really hard keeping my thoughts to myself. Zolin's perspective. Do you remember a girl named Viteria? The young woman asked. I actually had to think about it a bit before I remembered. It had been 9 years since I last saw her. I almost didn't even remember her anymore. Then, I remembered all the fun times I had with my best friend. Was this really who I had been fighting all along? I had a hard time believing it, but then again, so many confusing things had been going on that I really didn't know what to believe. Viteria's perspective. I don't believe it. Is it really you? Zolin asked. Yeah, it's me. Now, could you tell me what the hell is going on here? I said. Someone wearing a dark cloak like yours killed Zara, Zolin said. Zara was dead too? I was kind of saddened hearing this, but it just confirmed the suspicions I and Uncle Dewin had that there was some kind of treachery going on here, and that Weltkind woman traveling with them probably had something to do with it. And did you ever think it might have been someone else in a dark cloak? I asked. It could be anyone under the hood. As for me and Uncle Dewin, we're your closest family. Do you really think we would want to kill you when we actually knew who you were? Why do you think we ran away the moment we got a look at your face? Zolin's perspective. Ah! Once again, I had charged blindly forward without thinking everything through. And now, I'd screwed up bigger than ever before. I'd killed my own father. I had to find some way to redeem myself. I got down on my knees and said, "There has been a terrible mistake here. I have committed a terrible crime, and now I must face justice. I hereby submit myself to you. If you wish to kill me, I won't do anything to stop you." Katrina's perspective. No! If Solon died now, everything would have been for nothing. And it'd probably be all over for me, too. I had a feeling this woman knew about our plans. If she really did kill Solon, I was sure I'd be next. Vitaria's perspective. I picked up my mace and held it high. A part of me still wanted to kill him for what he had done, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't let my emotions control me anymore. Besides, a part of me, deep down inside, hoped my old friend was still in there somewhere. I slammed my mace on the ground and said, "There have been enough pointless deaths already." Solon stood back up and said, "One thing I don't understand is why you attacked us the first time. What are you after? What's your goal?" I spent a lot of time telling them about, well, everything. I told them about the source, and I told them how me and Uncle Delwyn had decided that it needed to be destroyed. I told them we didn't even know who was under the hoods the first time we met, but we could have sworn our vision had told us they were the ones who wanted to use the source. "If you really aren't the ones seeking to use the source," I said, "then I swear you're not the ones we really wanted to fight. I don't know who really wants to use it, but I know someone out there does, and they have to be stopped." I rather obviously glanced at Katrina, but I don't think Solon picked up on my hint, and maybe it's better he didn't. I knew she must be the one trying to get to the source and the one responsible for all of this deception, but I knew I couldn't say anything directly to Solon about it. He probably wouldn't have believed me anyway, and the peace between us hanged by a thread already. "So then," Solon said, "it must be the source calling me. When we get to it, I promise to help you destroy it. Then maybe all of this madness can finally be over. Maybe we can be friends again, just like in happier times long gone." Almost without realizing it, I actually shed a tear. "I'd love that," I said. I was tired of all these depressing events, deception, and death after pointless death. I just wanted to go back to happier times. Me and Solon shared a friendly embrace. As I looked over his shoulder, I could see Katrina staring at me menacingly. Katrina's perspective. This may have been a kink in our plans, but everything was still going to work out. Vitaria knew she couldn't say anything to Solon that he would believe, so he'd just keep on leading us to the source until we finally reached it. By then, it would be far too late for them. We could finally take it for ourselves, and then there would be nothing they could do to stop us.